What is this scene like for you today?
Well, you know, she always used to tell her sister, when I got in fight, it's like being in a movie. And Julie would say, yeah, but you're not. But it does. You know, I see it is a lot like her being in a movie. So it's pretty awesome.
Have you liked the television coverage? I saw Real Sports last night, Prime Time, all those things. Have you been a fan of what you've seen or not so much? What's it been like?
Honestly, I think a lot of it's a little one-dimensional. It's kind of like the same story over and over. So some of it's good, some of it's sad, but it's the same story. So sometimes I wish it was a little bit more multi-dimensional. You know, like talk about all the things that Ronda does to raise money for charity or stuff like that. And I guess that doesn't make her sound tough enough, so it doesn't get in there. Or, you know, how good she is in math and science, or she makes tacos, or all her gaming stuff, you know. So it's nice, but there's a lot more to Ronda than that.
There's been so much attention on her in the last, you know, it's happened so fast, really. Have you seen a change in her? Like, did she change all by this?
She changed for about 5 minutes, and then she changed back. Because I think she was a little impressed with the media coverage and everybody telling how great she was, and that lasted for about 5 minutes. And we had what her father used to refer to as a little come to Jesus meeting, where, yeah, then she changed back.
When did that take place?
Oh, a while ago, probably after her first world title.
Were you the one that had to get real with her?
About that meeting? Well, I would just say that it went as far as me saying, you know what, some of these people might be confused that you came from some trailer park white trash family that has to put up with you, but nothing could be further from the truth. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. And then she said, well, maybe I was a little overzealous. We're one of those fans, we have short arguments. You know, you might have a short knockdown, drag-out argument, and it's done. Except for Ronda. Ronda will hate you forever. But not me.
So it's your job to really keep her grounded.
Well, she has 3 sisters. So, you know, we all love her, but loving her and being impressed with her are 2 different things.
Obviously, I think every parent, envisions greatness for their child. But I mean, did you ever think that it would be, the spotlight would be this great on her, and that she would be, setting history, so to speak?
Honestly, when she was little, I just hoped she would talk. So her sisters always say, you let Ronda get away with everything. And it's partly true because she was the baby and she couldn't get words out. You'd see her struggling. So that, I think, makes it twice as good because her sisters, I always knew they did amazing.
What kind of kid was she growing up?
What kind of kid was she?
Yeah, what were her interests? What did she like to do?
She was really into art. She was really good at art. She was really good at math because she didn't talk very well. So anything that you could do that didn't involve talking so much, like math, she was fabulous. She would draw the same picture over. There's murals in our house. She painted like seascapes on her little sister's room, and she was always like that.
And what did she finally develop into being more talkative, more effusive?
Well, she was in speech therapy for years, and so it was just gradual, where she went from, being at the bottom 3% to the bottom 10% to average to, well, you've heard her talk now. So it's been gradual all the way up.
You're part Venezuelan, right?
Yes.
So Ronda's part Venezuelan. Is she going to be the next Venezuelan sports icon?
I hope so. Claro que sí.
If some movie director came up and offered Ronda $10 million to star in his movie, what would she say?
If it didn't interfere with this fight, she would probably say yes. If it was this week, she'd say, I gotta fight.
Well, I mean, what if Hollywood tries to take her? What do you think is going to happen? Is there any chance of that whatsoever?
Well, I mean, there's a chance of anything because 2 years ago when she said, I'm going to go in the UFC and I'm going to be a professional fighter, I said, it's the stupidest idea I ever heard. So I presume there's a chance of anything. I would have said there was no chance of that 2 years ago if you asked me.
I mean, do you think she's drawn to that? You said that she was a big fan of art. Movies are kind of art. Is she kind of artsy like that? Would she enjoy acting? Being in front of a camera
Again,
all
if
the
you'd
time?
asked me a few years ago because she was so shy about talking, I would have said there's absolutely no way. But now, nothing would surprise me. I mean, she showed up naked on the cover of a magazine. Nothing surprises me.
So, do you hope that she eventually goes back to school and gets a degree, or is that something that...
I would like to see that, and I wouldn't put it past her, because lots of people in their 30s and 40s, go back to school. She's so smart that I think it's very likely she would end up doing a lot more.
How was homeschooling, Ronda, and how much do you attribute to that, becoming a factor in how successful she is today?
Well, mostly I homeschooled her because she was really unhappy in school because, you know, if you're a skinny little kid and you don't talk very well, and you came from North Dakota to LA, it's really hard. So I think it just helped her academically to keep up, but I think it also let her know that we would back her up no matter what, even if it means taking you out of school so you're happier and can do better. So I think it helped her keep pace academically back when she was having problems.
Do you think we'll see more of that?
More people homeschooling?
Yeah.
I think with athletes you see it a lot because especially with somebody like her when she was, you know, she made her first junior world team at 15 when we didn't let her go, but because we weren't going to let our 15-year-old kid leave the country without us. But at 16 she was on the U.S. team and traveling all over the world, and it's hard to keep our regular high school schedule like that. So I think a lot of athletes go that way.
What ages did you homeschool?
We homeschooled her for the second half of 5th grade, and then for a year and a half in high school, and then she didn't actually finish the high school homeschooling, and she just took her GED instead.
Did she go to regular high school then?
She went to Santa Monica High for about a year and a half.
Did she graduate?
No, we homeschooled her for a while. She did classes online, and then she took her GED.
Oh, okay. It seems like, you know, you talk about the media stories and how they tell the same story on over. It seems like a lot of people try to paint her struggles, you know, at speech and that sort of thing as what kind of made her the character that she is and give her the drive and that sort of thing. Do you agree with that? Did that help shape who she is as a person and give her that competitive drive that she has, or was it something else?
Well, I think there's a certain amount of that. You know, I had a friend whose son was very physically handicapped. He developed speech really early because it was like what he could do. And I think in her case, she couldn't talk very well. So the physical things, the art, the sports were what she could do. And of course you want to focus on what you're good at and what makes you happy. So I think not being able to talk very well made her focus more on physical aspects in every way. So I think that did affect her, and there is a little bit of that still trying to prove herself that, you know, I may be the littlest and I may not be able to talk very well, but I'm still just as good as you guys.
What does Ronda think about all of us? Is she sick of the media yet, or what does she think about the stories that are being written about her in the interviews?
Well, her sister's a sports writer, so she tries to be very understanding, as open as she can, because she's like, well, if Maria wanted a story, I wouldn't want someone to be a jerk to them. But I think the biggest thing is it's tough when she's trying to train 3 times a day. So it's more the logistics of, I don't want to be a jerk, but I got to practice at this time and this time and this time, and there's 14 people who want to talk to me, and I've got 40 minutes free.
So some interviews that she does, you know, on TV especially, she really turns herself like up a notch maybe. She's kind of described that before. How much of that is, do you think, her actual personality, and how much is, you know, maybe just putting on a show for what people want to see, do you think?
Some of it is maybe putting on a show, but I can tell you, like, when she says she doesn't like somebody, she doesn't like them. You know, I mean, I said before, because Ronda won't say anything because she's nice, but if I was Miss Cyborg, I would run. I would not only drop out of UFC, I would move to another country. So yeah, when you see her, like her and Misha Tate, she did not like Misha. And so I think that part of it is really, you know, and she likes Liz Fine, and she likes Sarah Crawford, so I think that part of it is legit. Some of the stuff about, you know, oh, I try to have sex as much as I can. Honestly, she doesn't even have a boyfriend, so, you know, we're very Catholic, so I think some of that's kind of dialed up.